Point 5. A flat earth requires a place for the sun to rise and one for it to set. For the following two verses I have used the Pictorial translation of the Quran. This isn't because the Pictorial version is translated how I want it to be, but because the Yusufali translation did not match the other three English translations on QuranExplorer.com. So I ignored the one translation that was different and went with the three that corroborated each other. 18:86, until when he reached the setting place of the sun. 18:90, until when he came to the rising place of the sun. Now you may choose to give the benefit of the doubt here if you wish, but why would a perfect, all-knowing entity write such evidently flawed statements when it could just as easily instead have written that the man walked until the sun set, and that he then walked until the sun rose? Or perhaps it could have written, he walked east until he reached the sea. The same verses that say the man in question walked until he reached the place of the rising sun also says that there he found people who had no protection from the sun. 18:89 to 90. Came to the place of the rising sun. He found it rising on a people for whom we had provided no covering protection against the sun. If Al-Jalalain weren't real Muslims, I'd say they were a duo of comic geniuses. The place where the sun rises is obviously so hot that all the people there have black skin. These Negroes would have to hide underground when the sun was rising, which is obviously when it would be closer to the surface of the flat earth, and thus at its hottest. And then they would not come out until midday, when it was much cooler. How absolutely brilliant. Point 6. The east and west of the earth would be the two furthest points. The distance between these 2 points would be the greatest possible while still remaining on the planet. The following verse is attributed to Moses. Clearly Moses, or the person concocting the story of Moses, believed that the earth was flat, and that the distance between the furthest eastern point and the furthest western point is the largest possible. 26:28. Moses said, Lord of the east and the west and all in between, if you only had sense. Well, I do have sense, and it's currently telling me that the author of these words thought the earth was flat. Now, we can very well excuse the words of a human, because unless God told him differently, Moses probably would have thought the earth was flat. But can we excuse it being written in the Quran? Moses is delivering a message in the name of the creator of the universe. In saying that Allah is the Lord of the east and the west and all in between, he's actually saying that Allah is the Lord of nothing. This is because there is no distance between the furthest easterly point and the furthest westerly point on Earth. On a spheroid, these are in fact the same place. Should Allah let such a mistake go uncorrected? Well, perhaps at the time, yes. But even then, there is no explanation as to why Allah would bring this error up thousands of years later in his book intended for all people until the end of time, when at some point in the future we would all know that it is wrong. Surely Allah would only include things that made sense and leave out all of the misconceptions instead of propagating them further, or perhaps even mention that Moses was wrong. Why would the creator of the universe include so much seemingly flat earth information in its perfect book? With so much information in the Quran that can easily be interpreted as being flat earth oriented, can we honestly say that the Quran is perfect? would it not be more perfect if it weren't there at all? 1. Saying the earth has been spread out. 2. Comparing the sky to a flat sheet of paper. 3. Saying the sky or universe has been raised up. 4. Saying there is a place where the sun rises and a place where it sets. 5. Naming the east and west as places between which is the greatest possible distance. Life is allegedly a test to see if we accept or reject a claim that has no proof. But must it also be a test to see if we are willing to accept a claim that has no credibility? Failing to believe this claim, despite the apparent deliberate attempts to misguide us, is punishable by an eternity in hell. Considering the eternal souls of billions of people are at stake, is it really fair of the just to make this book lack any credibility to so many non-Muslims, and even contain information which must sometimes trouble the minds of the faithful? What is more likely, that the creator of the universe included verses in its perfect book which look like 7th century misconceptions, or that a man with 7th century misconceptions authored the Quran and simply claimed it was from the creator of the universe?